Hey, how you doing? This is Seji Hito, and it is October 2nd, well, Monday, October 2nd, 2023 at 1:06 p.m. So this is the story that we have at the moment in time, which is man accused of erasing, right? Black wife in Texas arrested in Austin. So we're going to play a clip for you with a little bit of information, and then I'm going to re-go over the information and give my opinion on the situation.
Investigators say 46-year-old Janine Chapman was found dead inside an apartment in the National Building on Elm Street Monday afternoon. Her family says the suspect was an on and off boyfriend who married Chapman over the summer.
Heather, Janine Chapman's sisters described her as fierce, loving, and ambition. Her murder blindsided them, especially since the suspect was a man who was so close to their sister.
She was all the way around a good person. So this is the last thing that we were just completely blindsided by this.
48-year-old James Patrick was identified as the prime suspect. Her sisters confirm the two were together on and off for 6 years.
In the last year or so, the relationship got really rocky.
We knew that they had arguments, and that's typical in relationships. It was a bit toxic. But we would never think it would have been taken to this extreme where my sister would ultimately lose her life.
Dallas police say Patrick was arrested by University of Texas police at a hospital on Wednesday and charged with murder. They wouldn't share why he was in the hospital.
We got the target on him, and yeah, so we're happy with the way everything is unfolding at this point in time.
Patrick is currently being held at the Travis County Jail. He does have a criminal history, including a terroristic threat charge out of Dallas County from 1993 that was dismissed, and also a theft charge out of Travis County, also dismissed. No word yet on when he'll be transported back to the Dallas County Jail.
Yo, what is up, Rob? What is up, K5? Much love, respect, and appreciation. Have a safe day out there at work there, brother. So that was the information right there, right? So you were able to hear a little bit of the sisters speak on how it is that this completely blindsided them. So just in case some people might be missing on some information, these are the main bits. Working as the Duchess of York's assistant was Miss Chapman's first job after her stint at her university. Miss Chapman moved to Dallas, Texas about 5 months ago for a new job. She was a senior vice president at Critical Mass, which is a digital marketing agency. Her family states that the suspect was a on and off again boyfriend who recently married Miss Chapman over the summer. Her family also stated that Chapman has been married to Patrick for a few months, and they have been in a turbulent relationship for years. There had not been a wedding when the couple married. That's what the sister stated, and it came to them as a surprise. Chapman's sisters also confirmed that the two were together on and off for 6 years. And this is one quote from the sister. She said, quote, "Even though she was an independent Black woman, she was the definition of that, but she had that sweet softness to her as well." The 43-year-old man, called James Patrick, has been arrested in connection with her murder, and police state that he is expected to be charged with her murder. Now I'm just trying to figure out, where is the divesting society when it comes to one of their sisters in arms losing her life for no reason, for clear-cut zero reason at all. She lost her life, right? This woman is college educated, right? She was a senior vice president at a digital marketing agency. She was also on the way of starting her own business as well. As her sister stated, she is an independent Black woman. So where are all of the divestors to come stand up, to come march, to come bring awareness, to come speak out about what took place with one of their own. That's all I'm asking, right? Because let it be known, if this was a black man that committed this exact same horrendous act, we all would be hearing about it on social media. It would be everywhere. You would see it on all different types of timelines. You would see a multitude of YouTube videos, TikTok videos. You would see it on IG. But magically, when it deals with somebody who looks like Patrick, it seems as though nobody cares. It really seems as though the sisterhood does not care about one of their own when somebody who looks like Patrick takes one of their educated lives. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? Because, like I tell you guys before, I'm on Twitter. So when I go online, I just so happen to see this story, not by way of a divester putting the story up there, but it was by way of a black man posting the story. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? Out of all of the people, a black man posted the story. And yet I hear just so much eerie silence from the divester community, even when it deals with social media, when it comes to this black woman losing her life. Again, she is college educated. She is smart. She is brilliant, right? She is strong-headed. She knows her goals. She knows specifically what it is that she wants. Her sister stated that she is independent. But yes, silence. And the main thing I also want to highlight, let me go back here and so you guys can hear some of the things that Patrick has been charged with. Now, this is the funny part as well, too, right? Because you hear a lot of people that want to refer to all black men as Pookie and Ray Rays and no good and as bums and all this other type of stuff. And then they want to simply speak on like, oh, well, this is why this Ickme lost her life to a black man. This is exactly why, because she's always this, that, and the third. You should sit up there and go with these other men. Let's go over what Patrick was charged with, and his own people opted not to fully charge him with it.
Texas police at a hospital on Wednesday and charged with murder. They wouldn't share why he was in the hospital.
We got the target on him, and yeah, so we're happy with the way everything is unfolding at this point in time.
Patrick is currently being held at the Travis County Jail. He does have a criminal history, including a terroristic threat charge out of Dallas County from 1993 that was dismissed, and also a theft charge out of Travis County, also dismissed. Does have a criminal history. Including he does have a criminal history.
So I just had to point that out. So somebody that looks like Patrick has a criminal history. This man has made terroristic threats. He's also stolen. Ain't that something? She is the most educated woman that I have seen thus far, with the most promising career. She worked with the Duchess of York. She worked with a royal. Somebody with a last name that matters. Right? That was her first job after she left the university. So obviously this lets you know that this is a smart woman, right? But even no matter how educated this black woman was, she still ended up with a guy that has a criminal history. How? All of the research, all of the knowledge that you have, you opted not to do a background check on Patrick? Why? What? Why? What's This dude has a history of causing problems. He has been through the courts. And an educated black independent woman who worked with the Royals basically the first day out of the university became let me go back to my notes. She became the senior vice president at Critical Mass, which is a digital marketing agency. She was also going to start her own business. Still ended up picking a Patrick with a history. Wow. And she lost her life because of this choice. Wow. And then, you know, the craziest thing is the sisters stated that their relationship was toxic. The sisters stated that they were argumentative, but they didn't step in. They didn't do nothing. They didn't say nothing. Why? Because he's a Patrick. That's the leeway that you get when you're a Patrick. You can do any and every single thing. You can disrespect a black woman. You can do whatever it is that you want to sit up there and do. And Patrick is proof of that. You can have a whole criminal history, but guess what? Because Patrick is Patrick, it don't matter. That was Patrick then. That's not Patrick now, but let it be a Tyrone. Right? Let it be a Tyrone that might have had a troubled, past as a youth. And magically, that troubled Tyrone from then, people will still say that is still the Tyrone of now. Even if he's wearing a suit, even if he's, running a business, an entrepreneur, people will still hold Tyrone to that same, youthful past that he used to have. Don't matter if it was court proceedings or not. Don't matter if he was gang related or not. Don't matter if he was selling drugs or not. That Tyrone is still a Tyrone. But let it be a Patrick. No. Patrick, that was him. He was going through a phase. His parents are going through a divorce. He was upset. He didn't really know about his feelings. They'll make all type of excuses in the book for Patrick. They will let Patrick slide with any and every single thing. And I promise you this. If Patrick was never charged with murder, or they never found out that Patrick did it, I promise you there would be another Miss Chapman that would rise up in order to date and get married to Patrick. Because that's how that works. Nobody ever gives a second blink at Patrick. They always go out for the first blink. Let it be a Tyrone. They're like, yeah, no, it'll be a hard pass. It'll be a hard pass. It'll be a hard no. They'll do all types of background checks, background searches. Magically, everybody's Inspector Gadget. Magically, everybody is the world's greatest detective. Magically, everybody's fucking Bruce Wayne and Batman. Magically, when it comes to Tyrone, everybody does their detective work. When it comes to Patrick, oh no, this is obviously Clark Kent. Mild-mannered man working at the Daily Planet. He means no harm. Obviously, being able to hypnotize people with glasses must have worked with Patrick, because he did a hell of a trick at this moment in time. That's crazy. That is completely crazy. But like I said, it is what it is. I expect those out there for, from the divesting community. I expect for them to make a whole bunch of hashtags. I expect to, for them to make t-shirts. I expect for them to do a whole bunch of documentaries and videos, the same ones like they normally like to do. If this was a black man, I expect for them to do that exact same thing. I expect for them, if they realistically care about the happiness and the well-being of black women, the way they say that they do, I expect for them to actually post this all over, so it is a warning signal, right? Like they want to post all of those bat signals when it deals with black men. Even if it's a black man that never did nothing, they still want to post these warning signs. Don't date black men. Don't do this. Don't do that. put this warning sign out there to your sisters out there. If you really care about the lives for the divestors out there, if you really care about the lives of black women and young black girls the way that you say that you do, then make sure that you protect them, because obviously y'all failed here. Y'all 100,000% failed right here. Y'all failed this woman. Y'all run y'all mouths about statistics. Y'all want to talk about femicide and all this other type of stuff, but y'all don't want to talk about how y'all be misleading a lot of these black women, and this inevitably happens. And then y'all stay silent. And then I look online on Twitter and y'all be like, well, you know, that was her. That's how the black women will treat other black women. Well, that was her. It won't be me. I'm smarter than the average bear. Hey, boo boo. Right? That's the craziest thing ever to see online, to literally look at divestors and they're having a conversation and there's not an ounce of sympathy for what took place for women like her. But yet they care about the sisterhood. They care about black women. They care about the femicide rates. They care about, you know, little black girls and all this other type of stuff. They care about doing better and loving better and being treated the way that they should be treated. But yet when things like this happen, eerie silence. I guess they were hoping for Tyrone to have done this. I guess that would have made it better. Right? Like I said, I don't know what to tell people. You know. Now I'm wondering, oh, I'm a little bit confused. Let me go back there. Oh. It was grown as well. She had a man. Now I'm wondering. No. What B1 is basically stating is, okay. So the correct Simmons, you might not understand what it is that he's referring to. You might have to go through a lot of divestor networks in order to understand. So what normally divestors will sit up there and say when it deals with black men is that obviously black women aren't choosing wisely, right? And they like to call black men and black boys the, all right, K5, much love, respect, and appreciation, brother. Have a safe trip out there. Have a great day at work, man. Normally what they like to describe black men is as the spawn of Satan, including young black boys as well. And they like to say that, you know, black women don't know how to choose properly, right? Because if these black women don't know how to choose properly, right, which are the ones, you know, specifically going out there trying to date and get married to black men, then obviously, again, you got to understand somebody has to be the villain. Somebody has to be the hero. Black men are always the villain. So what B1 is basically trying to tell you is that a lot of these divestors will sit up there and state that if a black woman chooses anybody else other than a black man, she chose wisely, right? Because she chose not to be with Satan's spawn, right? Chose not to be with a demon. She chose to be with God, right? So that's where B1 is directly coming from, you know. But like I said, it's also, you know, tongue-in-cheek as well, but there's also truth in a lot of jokes. So there was truth in exactly what it is that B1 stated. I've covered that here on this platform quite a multitude of times. I've also allowed audio to play where you would have some of these black women state this as well, where they would state that they're trying to talk to their young granddaughters, right? And they're at the age of like 11, and they're trying to make sure that their granddaughters don't even look the way of black boys their age. She don't even want her growing up. She don't want her granddaughter growing up and even looking at black men, or even trying to consider black men. And this is an older woman, right? Trying to give this type of logic over to her granddaughter. And you would have other black women of that same type that would decide to sit up there and say, yeah, that grandmother is right. She's sitting up there teaching her right. She's looking out for her best interest. Right? Because you got to understand that a lot of those women, they're hurt because of choices that they've made. They went for the wrong types. They attract the wrong types. So because of this, they're not going to take the responsibility and accountability to sit up there and say, like, you know what, maybe I messed up as a person. Maybe my energy is messed up. Maybe the specific qualities I wanted during that time led to the downfall and why it is that I ended up in the relationships that I actually ended up in. Right? If you already know that a man is bad and then you continuously decide to get into a relationship with that man, knowing the fact that he's bad, you can't then turn around and blame the bad man for inevitably ending up in a bad relationship. Sweetheart, this is on you. That's what, you know, a lot of women fail to just so happen to realize. And then that falls directly back into Patrick. Patrick was a bad seed. Patrick has a criminal past, right? Let me see. Say less said this is so disgusting. You're right. Now there are crickets. Yeah, they're not. Yo, say less. That's all I'm saying. Like, yo, if you want to, like I said, I'm a full blown, you know, person that believes in equality, right? So if you want to, you know, do things, no problem. You want to talk negatively about black men, no problem. Make sure you also talk negatively about your preference as well. No matter how much that might potentially hurt your prospects, be honest. Like I said, you got a lot of women out here that always claim that they're honest and all this other type of stuff, and they tell the truth, but they don't tell the truth when it ends up that it might be a bad look towards them, that the supposed men that they want might not really select them if they're too outwardly spoken. Right? They'll have all of this anger and animosity when it comes to black women. They'll have all of this rah, 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 and this independence and masculinity directly online when it comes to these videos. But when it comes to men like Patrick, oh, all of that is they turn into a 1950s housewife. They completely turn into a 1950s housewife real quick. Patrick will be the only person raising his voice in that house, but let that be a black man. Nah. There's going to be multiple voices in that house. Then on top of that, that same woman is going to make sure to get her family involved in the relationship as well. But notice she's not going to do that with Patrick. This is why her sisters stated in the audio that you're able to hear that they were completely blindsided. They were blindsided, number one. This just basically proves to you how much of a failure this was. The sisters were blindsided that they even got married. And then the sisters were blindsided that even though that her sister was in an on again relationship with Patrick, was only married to the dude for a few months, was also in a toxic relationship, they were blindsided of the fact that he was inevitably going to take her life. I'm not sure how you couldn't have like figured that out, because let this have been a black man, and the moment in time an argument even happens, you have a field of divestors sitting up there saying like, oh, he's violent. The femicide rates are going to go up. This, that, and the third, all this other type of stuff. Like I said, it's crazy how it works. It's crazy how people want to bring up statistics and they want to talk about red flags and warnings and all these other types of things, but magically these warnings only exist when it's black men. But when it's somebody like Patrick, you never hear these women talking about warnings. Like I said, go online right now, go on Twitter, go on IG, go on YouTube, and just type in warning signs, warning flags or whatever, of dating a black man, warning signs, or something like that. You'll see a slew of videos. You might even see a documentary or a book that was even written, selling on Amazon for $10. But if you type the same thing up for somebody like Patrick, you won't find it. It's crazy. B1 said, okay, so who did Patrick work for? Was there any association, work relations? I don't know. The same way that you're thinking, I was thinking the same way. I was like, you know what? Maybe she might have had something on the Royals. maybe she might know a little bit too much. Maybe she might have had some information that they might have been afraid of. Maybe there was a potentiality of the reason why it is that she was taken out, right? Because that can always be the case. Because how many times on social media do we always hear of something happening with some type of scandal happening with the royals? How many times? That happens quite often. There's always something that comes out. And maybe she knew something. Maybe she was around when a certain person was around other specific people. Maybe she might have saw something but didn't really see something, right? And then they decided to get her directly out of there just to be safe. Don't mean that she actually knew information. Don't mean that she actually saw something, but you know, it comes with a line of work. But we'll never know, because she was the only one that might have had a type or a certain type of information, because she was potentially that close with the royals, running in those circles. But that's another thing too. You're not going to hear any of these divesting channels talking about the royals in a bad light or anything like that as well, because it's a little bit of a split decision on that, since Meghan Markle is out here winning. Because out of nowhere, you'll have a lot of women deciding to count Meghan Markle as black, when originally people didn't want to count Meghan Markle as black. That was one of the main things that she's talked about so many times before, right? And this is something that the black community has talked about so many times before. But a win is a win. So due to the fact that Meghan Markle is with what is it? What is it? Henry? Well, Prince William? I forgot which one. But you know, due to the fact that she is with a royal and she is living the best life, a win is a win. And that's the way that they see it. But the moment in time that she is not with him, oh, then they'll start bagging on her. They'll start sitting up there coming at her sideways or saying this about her, saying that about her. Right? Like I said, it's, you know, it's funny how you know, whenever people want to win, they'll try to consider any and everything that they never considered, just so they can sit up there and get that W. It's crazy. Awaken said most of the time, black women say that Patrick's use the N-word as a red flag. I've covered that before on the channel. And the funniest thing is, I actually, I got a hope, man. When I tell you that I got like fields of stuff where you will have women, like I'm just going to use the lady here for an example, right? The lady that lost her life, to Patrick, right? Miss Chapman. There's a lot of women like Miss Chapman that are online right now, and they have, I put it to you like this. I make it real easy for people. If you go to Reddit right now, you can sit up there and look up black women who are only and specifically looking for Patrick's, and they will have all different types of derogatory terminology written all over their body. Just in case anybody ever thinks that I'm lying about the things that I talk about, this is why I love the internet. Anybody and everybody can go directly on Reddit and you can look these things directly up, and you will be completely mortified when you see the fields of black women that are up here trying to find a Patrick, writing the N-word across their stomach or their chest. They want to call themselves breeders and all these other types of things, and use all types of racial slurs. And they want to sit up there and tell these men, oh yes, call me anything that you want to call me, master. Yeah. But like I said, I can't really sit up there and show that, at least off here. I can't do that here. I'll probably sit up there and put something together on Twitter later, and I'll sit up there and have that posted because Twitter is the only platform where I can happen to do that without any problems or anything like that. So, but yeah, it is. It's not a good look. It's not a good look at all. Like I said, if I really wanted to sit up there and like when I do videos like this, and if I really wanted to shut people down and shut people up, I got files, I got folders. I can easily sit up there and put something together real quick, real fast, and in a hurry. Because people always want to sit up there and run their mouth, you know, when they want to talk about black men. But if I start putting out a lot of these pictures and some of these videos, people are gonna be real silent. Real silent. Like I said, people don't want that. But we're gonna go directly to a Timothy said, wait, they really tattoo that on themselves. They use black marker and they write it directly on themselves. They go directly to Reddit. There's a certain section on Reddit that all of it's called. It'll be considered under race play. What is it? Not safe for work area, race play, and you will see black women. You would probably have to, in order to specifically see the pictures, when you first go to Reddit, you would probably have to go to your settings and, you know, adjust that, or however you want to sit up there and do it. But you'll go there and you'll see the pictures. This is what they do. Like, this is not a game. This is not a joke. This is why when you go on TikTok and you type in race play, you'll start seeing fields of black women up there. This is why I made the video that I made before, where you got women like Miss Chapman who will opt to do a lot of this race play type of stuff, where they will try to get their other partner, who is usually a Patrick, to say a slur or the hard ER, right? Or you'll get the black girls up there that'll sit up there and say like, oh, that's such a turn on when he sits up there and calls me that, or says this or that. And like I said, people think it's a game. People always think that I'm lying, or I'm trying to sit up here and say something, or that I'm supposedly jealous of. It ain't none of that. I'm pointing out exactly what it is. I'm pointing directly to the truth. And this is what black women are up there doing on Twitter, on TikTok, on Reddit. They would technically do it on YouTube if they were able to get away with it, but they know they can't. So they refrain from actually posting that on YouTube. But they post it everywhere else. And like I said, nobody wants to ever talk about it. You won't happen to see divestors bring that up, because that's one of their little hidden secrets, because they love sitting up there going directly into that, doing the slave role play, doing the slur role play and all that type of stuff. Like I said, you got girls up there right now on Reddit talking about if the slavery auction block was to come back, this is how it would pose. And they're completely naked, bent over, or they're sitting up there showing off their chest with certain words directly written on there. Like I said, you would be mortified if you were to sit up there and see some of the stuff. And I'm like, damn, I'm like, yo, you actually like, yo, you got some looks to you. And I'm like, this is what you do. I'm like, this is the only way that you can basically like get a guy. I'm like, this is really what it's about. I'm like, you got it. You got it. It's like, you know what? I don't got no problems. It's like, this is, and then the comments that you see, like the Patricks leave directly under there. I'm like, wow. I'm like, and y'all really okaying these dudes to talk to y'all like this? Woo! Like I said, the best way I sit up there and put it to people is because I've seen this stuff for years. You would have to take in this type of stuff with a certain pace, right? You would have to move with that information at a certain rate, because the moment in time that you really start to go deeper and deeper into that information, it's going to really make you, I'm just talking about in a general sense, it's going to make you look at Black women really differently. Because when you go online and you see this type of stuff, when you see these types of blog sites, or you see these types of websites and all this other type of stuff, like it's like you start to pity people. It's like, man, this is like, really? Word? I'm like, that's what it's all about. So this is why, like, when I start looking online and I see people, say that, oh, I'm not trying to be seen as a fetish and all this other, that's because more than likely you done dated a Patrick and you found out that he liked you for fetish reasons, but you still continue that relationship because he was a Patrick, even though it was against your best well-being. And now you want to sit up there and turn around and get online and say, like, I'm not trying to be a fetish and all this other type of, that's crazy to me. And you have a lot of women that will sit up there and do that. That's why I've showcased videos directly before where, who's that, Miss Terry? Yo, what's up, Miss Terry? What is up? What is up? What is up? What's up? Much love, respect, and appreciation. This is why I gave examples of some Black women, both younger and older, who were actually being honest about themselves dating a Patrick. And they were basically stating that even going against their best interest, they were still trying to seek some type of relationship with the person, or they were still trying to get to the end of the road sexually with that person. And I'm like, it's really worth it. You clearly see all of these warning signs all around you, but yet you're still determined for whatever reason. And I'm like, damn, that's crazy. Like I said, it's completely crazy to me to see something like this. It is completely crazy. And I'm going to state to any Black woman out there, if you got daughters, you might want to check some of these websites to make sure that your daughters ain't up there. You might want to go through some of these TikToks where these Black girls, these Black women are talking about race play. You might want to go through Reddit, right? You might want to go through Twitter to make sure your daughter might not be up there, because it ain't gonna be nothing. It ain't gonna be nothing positive directly coming, specifically from that. See, Terry said Prince Harry, and she is always sad, just not worth it. Like, you know what? Like I said, whatever they do is whatever they do. B1 said, who can remember the New York Times op-ed? Some Black lady wrote, sisters need to get a white man. Hey, like I said before, it is what it is. It is what it is. Like I said before, this is why I'm at the point where I've stated to people, whoever you want to sit up there and date, that is whoever you want to sit there and date. At a point in time, I really used to care, because I'm like, yo, you don't know potentially what harm this person could sit up there and bring to you. And I'm talking about both, Black men and Black women. I'm like, yo, you don't know what, an Ashley or a Patrick can, potentially, do to you, or, your livelihood or your name or anything like that. And then I just get to the point after doing all of these stories, I'm like, you know what, y'all got it. Y'all figure it out. I can't, in a sense, for me, I can't care more for people than what they do for themselves. I can't do it. So, if I continuously see stories like this where Patrick decided to take the life of his wife for whatever reason, it ain't really nothing I can sit up there and say. Right? Like I said, people make their choices, and a lot of people have to inevitably live by those choices. Right? like I said, that's it's a crazy turn of events. Knowing that the sisters knew specifically that Patrick was toxic and he was argumentative with their sister, they could have easily stepped in. That within itself is inexcusable. You knew the inner workings of the relationship. You knew they were on and off again, which means that obviously the relationship was not working or anything like that. But yet you didn't step in. And I'm going to say that they didn't due to the fact of listening to the interview. At no point in time during the interview or the written parts that were a part of the news story did they say that they intervened at any point in time and tried to get their sister away from Patrick. They never said that. They never said that at all. So this is why, again, when I happen to see people deciding that they want to, cry over family and stuff like that, I'm a little bit cautious because I'm like, did you really care? Because again, like I said before, if this was a black man, if this was a Tyrone that did this, you would have heard like, oh, we tried to tell her that he was no good. We knew that he was an unsavory character. We didn't like the cut of his jib. This, that, and the third. And they would have listed a whole bunch of stuff. They would have gave you character details about Tyrone, but magically with Patrick, all they kept saying was that they were just blindsided by the whole thing. And I'm like, how are you blindsided? How? You know the relationship. This is your sister, right? She was the superwoman out of the three of y'all. She was superwoman. And this dude came through like doomsday and just wrecked shop. When you should have been Batman, you should have been the world's finest, the great duo, Batman and Robin. Y'all should have been the main ones to put a stop to this before it happened. But like I said, it is what it is. Now the rest of the family got to sit up there and suffer because 3 people failed. Miss Chapman failed herself. She didn't pay attention to any of the red flags. She decided to keep going on with this relationship, even though it was against her best interest, knowing the fact that Patrick was argumentative and that everything was toxic and that it was on and off again relationship. And her sisters also failed their sister, which is why now they are suffering at this moment in time. All 3 people failed. I can't even blame the rest of the family because more than likely the rest of the family didn't know anything realistically because Miss Chapman was only married for about a few months. So something I wanted to highlight, getting away from this, something I wanted to highlight was this new South Korean. I'm not even gonna play because I don't want to, get hit with what's name. But I just want y'all to look at the imagery here and like what is this reminiscent of? Like I've covered a lot of stuff dealing with hip hop before and how it deals with the culture when it deals with rap, right? And you got this South Korean woman looking like she didn't came from Baps. If anybody knows what Baps is, that was the movie. With Halle Berry and another young black actress, during the time. Like I said, you can see the style that she's sitting up there wearing. You can see the guys in the background, everybody all black. They got their bottles. They sitting up here waving flags. To my knowledge, South Korea ain't nobody really gangbanging in South Korea. And to my knowledge, there is not even a reason to be gangbanging in South Korea. Like I don't understand why it is that you got people that don't have to like really. The hardest thing in Korea right now is North Korea. North Korea is the hardest thing in Korea. Right? Hardest thing in Korea. You don't see none of the Korean military. You don't see the North Korean military getting online trying to the online is pretty covered, but you don't see the North Korea up there like, you know, what would you army banging? You don't see them trying to, you don't see people in North Korea trying to, act hard and all this other type of stuff. But no, you got people in South Korea where everything is nice, where everything is fine and dandy, right? You're free from the quote unquote oppression that comes from North Korea, right? And you decide that this is what you want to sit up there and do. You want to try to masquerade or copy the culture of America, and you want to bring it directly over there, not even fully understanding the history of any of these associated groups. I'm not really want to, sit up there and say like gangs, because there's a history behind all of these things and the reason why they were originally created. But somewhere in there it got lost in translation, and here we are in America, right? But like I said before, people got to pay attention, and especially like black women again, copied again. You got all of these women specifically out there masquerading, copying, doing the same hairstyles. Nobody's going to sit up there and tell me that this is a normal South Korean hairstyle. You're not going to sit up there and do that. This is a hairstyle that I have seen for quite some decades over here when it deals with black women. This is not a normal hairstyle that you would have seen directly over there in Korea. I can promise you. Let me go look at some North Korean high school books from like the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s, and we can sit up there and do a versus and see the hairstyles. Because like I said, culturally, everybody has a type of hairstyle. Culturally, right? If you go back far enough, before everybody tried to start trying to assimilate rap and hip hop and black culture and this, that, and the third, you will start to see everybody's hairstyles culturally, right? You'll start to see Asian hairstyles. You'll start to see Latin hairstyles. You'll start to see European hairstyles, right? Everybody has their own individual cultural type hairstyles that identifies them as a culture. All of these hairstyles now were directly taken from the culture of black people in black America, and how it is that we sit up there and move, what it is that we do, along with the way that we sit up there and dress and style. Like I said, you got this South Korean girl sitting up there wearing grills. When was grills ever a normal thing in Asian countries like that? The way that we wear them over here in America, when was that ever like really a thing? Right? Like I said, people got to pay attention. People got to pay attention. And I'm also going to blame the fact that you have black people out here that okay a lot of this stuff. You got too many black people out here that are like, man, I don't see nothing wrong with it, man. They sitting up there doing their thing and all this other. I don't see why black people even have a problem. You should be proud of somebody else want to. No. Because far too many times and far too often, we didn't have people trying to sit up there and copy the culture, and we didn't say nothing about it, and it became a full-fledged 100% mockery. At one point in time, we couldn't say nothing because we didn't have control over it. Now it was a whole different thing. But now when we actually got control over it, we got so many black people that want to okay and allow everybody else to basically mock and copy the culture as if it is a great and cool thing, and it's not. Because the only thing that they want to sit up there and take is the thing that is considered a quote-unquote negative stereotype. They can take the negative and use it and masquerade and copy it, and it's a positive. It's an okay type of thing, right? But black people who live this and do this every single day, it's always demonized. It's always criminalized. Like I said, that's 1,000% crazy. But they know if they were to work their everyday jobs, if they had a job working in corporate, they already know South Koreans in corporate would not allow them to sit up there and walk around with grills. tattoos on their face, nails with all types of colors. You coming in with your hair several different colors. You already know that you're not going to be able to do it. So that's how you know that all of this is just it's just masquerading as black, because it's all fun to sit up there and be black for a day or a week. But when it's time to actually be black, everybody vanishes and disappears because ain't nobody really set up for that job. They're not equipped for that job. But it's all fun to masquerade though. But it's all fun to masquerade though. And then the funniest thing is you have a lot of people that will want to turn around and then they want to sit up there and say, but black people sit up there and take stuff from Asian cultures and da 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 da. We take it out of respect for the culture. We're like, yo, this is dope. Like, yo, I respect what it is that y'all sitting up there doing. So if you got somebody that does some anime type of art style and they're black, that's because they're enamored. They actually love the culture. And it's actually gotten to them so much where it's like, yo, this is something that I want to show my love so much to this culture. Let me sit up there and draw my ideas in their art form. That's them sitting up there acknowledging, like, yo, this is a great part of your culture. This is something that I love. Let me sit up there and show some type of homage. Let me show some type of respect. That's not us trying to sit up there and degrade anything when it deals with Asian culture or anything like that. But yet, people will try to make some type of comparison, and it's not the same. It is not the same. Gail said, I'm tired of MFers acting like we so wrong for being us, then turn around, water it down, and copy us. That's all the more reason we need to wake the F up, because this BS is played the fuck out. That is bars. That is facts. All said, yo, what is up? All, what is up? What is up? Our people look acceptance from all others because we haven't accepted who we are as a people, the original people of the world. That's facts. Timothy, what is up? What is up? Said the only way black culture is accepted is when everyone copies the culture. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, and still to this day, black culture is that. Importing and exporting. It is still that. Everybody still tries to copy it in some type of way or form. Like I said, you got some boys down south sitting up there singing country and doing it towards a beat with some rhythm. Now they got bars. And I'm like, where this ain't country. I'm like, this ain't country. Y'all ain't never had no rap in country. Like I said, because I'm not trying to sit up there and hear some decades from now talking about, oh, how you had country artists in the 1900s originally rapping on a banjo. I ain't trying to hear none of that nonsense. But I promise you, somebody out there is going to sit up there and try, because somehow, some way, whatever it is that black people have done with the utmost spectacularly greatness that we have, somehow, some way, somebody will try to sit up there and rewrite it or say that somebody else did it before us. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm like, all right. Yeah, you can try. You can try. Don't mean it's right though, but you can try. Patricia said, from the dust of the earth we are. Yep. And from the darkness of the universe we were created. All said, typo, our people look for acceptance. No. I got what you were saying. Fox said, we ain't putting men in kimonos, makeup, and putting them out on the strip, because geishas were equivalent to the street workers, and they were originally men. Oh yeah, I remember. I remember some stuff. B1 said, a little bootsy. Damn, I wasn't supposed to subscribe to that. Wait, subscribe to wait. I'm wait. Oh, you must have clicked on something by mistake when you was typing. Yo, Till, what is up? Till said, even when hard rock evolved, it came from Jimi Hendrix and Chuck Berry. Don't forget Little Richard. Don't forget Little Richard. That brother was up there. That man was up there setting trends. People forget about Little Richard now. Don't forget about the brother. Tutti Frutti. Oh, Rudy. Don't forget about the brother now. Awaken said, we have got to stop glorifying our own negative music and culture to be imitated and made fun of. You know, Awaken, I say this. It's a two-piece type of deal, right? Because the funniest thing is when you think about Italian culture, right? You think about the pasta, right? You think about the bread, you know, you think about the food, right? You think about the healthy food. But what also do we know about Italian culture? The mob, right? We know about the mob. So we know about the positive of Italian culture and we know about the negative. But even the negative is still deemed as seen as positive, aka Scarface, right? The world is yours. Living the American dream. And you had a lot of black dudes, even still to this day, that worship Scarface. And that was a negative. That dude was a drug lord. Straight drug lord, sitting up there, taking it directly to the streets, taking everybody out. You go back to the Sopranos. In that one episode, what does Sopranos sit up there and say when cocaine was getting introduced into the area? The dude came up to him like, yo, I got this stuff for you. He's like, yo, you can sell this and like make some money. The dude looked at him, he was like, yo, we ain't selling that. I'm not selling that to my people. Go take that over there to the blacks. Right? That was the Italians. Right? Again, those are the gangsters. Those are the thugs. Those are the ones that are part of the St. Valentine's Day Massacre in Chicago. One of the most violent massacres in the United States history, right? So we know the good and we know the bad about Italians, right? So again, I feel just to be even, we need both directly out there when it deals with black people. But the problem with it is that the bad side is, you know, criminalized and it's looked down upon, right? But when it deals with black people, we don't necessarily sit up there and try to spot or see the positive in what it is. No. You said Scarface was Cuban. Hey, irregardless. This is the main thing I'm sitting up here saying. All of that is connected directly to how the mob, how the Italians moved, right? It's great that Scarface was probably Cuban, but what all I'm sitting up there saying is, when you think about people in suits taking people's lives, I'm thinking about the mob. I'm thinking about the Italians because that's what they did. That's what they do. They're still doing interviews right now talking about the amount of bodies that they got and all this other type of stuff. But these were some of the main people that were like hitters back then, but they've been laying low. But now, since everybody's pretty much gone, now everybody want to start running their mouth. Now the hardest gangsters among them that's left want to start telling stories. They want to start talking. They want to start this. They want to start that. Like I said before, I could have sworn that if you were this type of individual, you're supposed to sit up there and take that to your final resting place. You ain't supposed to be talking about this stuff, right? You're not supposed to be arguing about this stuff online where you got the feds, right? Where you got the cops, where you got everybody looking at you. But, you know, here we are. But that's all I'm sitting up there saying. It's like, you know, back to what Awaken said, I'm looking at it as that, you know, both should be specifically up there, but it's up to black people to really, you know, put the balance, you know, in it. It shouldn't be up to everybody else to just try to determine what's the positive. Because we got black inventors. We got hundreds of thousands of black inventors out here. And because of those black inventors, it's the reason why a lot of people are able to do the things that they do every single day. But yet you're not going to have other cultures like South Korea worship those black inventors. They're not going to try to masquerade as those black inventors trying to call themselves the real McCoy and, you know, different things of that nature. They're going to try to do that. because nobody cares about that, because it's something that's genuinely actually positive about Black people, right? They want to look at the negative and try to use that as a positive when it comes to them, but still leave it as a negative when it comes to Black people. So it's kind of jacked. It's kind of jacked. The next one I want to happen to hit on is this video here. So let me just pretty much set you up. So you're going to see a Black woman walk up to a street performer. He's minding his business. He's not catcalling her. He's not trying to say anything negative or anything like that. He's just playing his piano directly out there for tips. She's going to proceed to hit the piano not once, but twice. Oh, my bad. My bad. I just realized that I had myself paused, muted, because I wanted y'all to hear the video. So thank y'all for B1 and for highlighting that. So in this video, which this is the original clip, right? You see her sitting directly there. I'm sorry, not sitting, but she came up the very first time, no glasses, directly on her face or whatever, and the guy is playing. So she decided to come over there and she wanted to mess with the setup and she wanted to hit the keys as he's playing. Again, he's minding his business. He's doing this for tips, or maybe he's doing this for a living. He's a street performer, right? You see the two women that's up there and they say, right? They tell her to stop. Like, stop. Like, yo, what are you doing? Why would you, right? And she proceeds to sit up there and storm off because they stopped her, right? So then we continue to when she came in the second time. So this is the second time. You can clearly see she's wearing glasses now, right? She got glasses directly on her face. Originally, she did not have on glasses. So this happened in between two different time frames, but she still decided to come back and do the exact same thing, right? So then she proceeded to hit it so hard that it collapsed the keyboard and the keyboard hits the concrete. And now she just has the face like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. Wow. But she's not really sorry, right? and then you're going to see her go directly in her purse as if to quote unquote give a tip, but she puts her hand all the way. We all know, because we've given tips before, you don't have to put your hand all the way in something in order to give a tip, right? You can have the tip in your hand. The bucket, the orange bucket that you see, the bucket is right there. You don't have to put your hand all the way in a bucket in order to drop money in there. You can literally have your hand levitating, drop it directly in there, the money will go in the bucket. Right? But as the guy listed, she steals money out of the bucket. So she went in her purse basically saying, oh, I'm going to sit up there and give this $10 tip. But she just put her hand in the bucket to basically grab some money and then walk off. And then, right? So what inevitably ended up happening is the fact that people found her her IG, right? People sat up there and found the newer IG that she made, and I think they also found her Facebook as well. And when she sat up there, she gave a half-ass apology, basically stating that, oh, well, you know, I already apologized and talked to the person and yada, yada, yada. And I didn't steal a tip, and that, you know, this is all about me. Nobody should be trying to text my family or anything like that. That's just wrong. All of the stuff that you got to say. Well, sweetheart, champ, when you decided to go out here in this world and you wanted to perform such a negative action, I don't know what you thought was going to specifically happen. You have people out here, not, again, I'm not saying people are wrong or right, but you have people out here that are going to come in defense for this young man that is simply trying to do something that he loves to do, that you came by just to insert your negativity, to try to ruin his day, try to ruin the entertainment of other people. You just try to ruin a whole performance just in general for whatever reason. Right? And you're mad because people are text messaging you and your family, writing rude stuff. Well, maybe you should second guess. Maybe you should rethink your actions next time so that that doesn't take place. Because easily, nobody would know who you are. Nobody would have known that you existed. Nothing would have had to been said about you or your family if you didn't decide to proceed to go with these actions, which were 100% uncalled for. Again, he didn't catcall her. He didn't use any type of slurs. He didn't try to get her attention. He didn't do anything to deserve this at all. Again, you saw the two women that were there in front of the keyboard that were just enjoying the music, maybe, you know, striking up a conversation. But she decided that she wanted to cut in between that just to sit up there and cause some type of disturbance or an issue, which again makes no type of sense. So like I said, that's how karma works, sweetheart. You deserve all the things that are in a sense taking place at this moment in time. Again, and I'm just talking about by words. I'm talking about by people sending messages and, you know, people maybe writing her on, you know, her social media and stuff like that. I'm not talking about extenuating stuff, right? I'm talking about stuff staying within a certain realm, within a certain field, you know. So like I said, you know, it's a lot of things that's happening out here that's not a good look. And I kept telling people before that, yo, it's going to get worse before it get better. And obviously, a lot of people don't want to pay attention, don't want to understand, and it's just going to continuously get worse. And I also want to sit up there and hear from like the divestors, like what they got to say about, you know, this girl deciding to go up here and disturb this man, you know, while he's being a street performer. I wonder if, you know, they're going to give him any tips. I wonder if they're going to go up to, you know, where he is and, you know, happen to visit and show some type of support. I wonder. Chances are they won't. Chances are they don't got nothing to say. You know, it's bad. It is bad. So then next, I would like to move back over to OBS real quick, and I want to highlight this story here. I'm not sure if I read this story off to you guys, but I'm just gonna highlight it again just in case. Maybe I did read it, maybe I didn't. Wait, Tippy said what happened. Hold on, let me just play let me just do this one more time. Tippy coming late to the party. So you're gonna see in the video. Hold on, I'm gonna let it play. I got you. Right, so the black girl came up there and she already interrupted him once. So then she came back a second time with, I guess, like her friends in the background or whatever, and she decided to do the exact same thing again, trying to disrupt, almost pretty much breaking his keyboard and stealing money and all this other type of stuff. She ended up receiving backlash online because people found her Facebook and all this other type of stuff. Oh, speaking of which, matter of fact, I'm glad I went back over this, Tippy. There's another thing I forgot to mention to you. So at the end of the apology that she gave, hold on, wait, do I got that? Do I have her apology? Let me, I might not specifically have it. I might be able to find it real quick. Let me see. Trending YouTube videos. Family calls 11-year-old girl. Through the Georgia authorities. Might not be able to find it. But anyways, at the end of her quote unquote apology, she basically stated, and also for those of y'all, she actually tagged her aunt in there. For those of y'all texting my aunt, she's actually crazy. Like, she's crazy for real. And I'm like, dude, you're making this worse. I'm like, no matter how much crazy you think that your aunt may be, there are people out here in the world that are actually crazy. Like, there are people out here that have like bodies in cemeteries that are like unmarked. There are people that then sat up there and took a slew of lives that nobody know about, and they're just walking amongst you. So again, it's not in your best interest to try to sit up there and try to, hey, my family is more crazy than what you really think. Please don't do that. That's not going to end well, because you're going to have somebody that's going to really test, and they're going to show you what crazy is. And then you're going to inevitably end up looking quite stupid and crazy yourself, because people are stupid and crazy out here. So again, this girl don't learn. Like, you got to refrain from sitting up there saying, dumb type of stuff. You already antagonized people one too many times online. Please don't keep doing it. Like, this is why I sit up there and tell people sometimes, like, yo, you just need to shut up. You just need to sit down, and you just need to shut up and just leave well enough alone. That's it. So that's pretty much what happened on that one, Tippy. So then I'm gonna highlight this story. I'm not my condolences if I went over this previously. I'm just gonna reread this again just in case. I don't think I went over this yesterday, but we'll find out. The Long Island mom who took matters into her own hands to track down her son's bullies and ran over a 15-year-old twice was acquitted of attempted murder by a jury of her peers earlier this week. The jury trial of Jennifer Nielsen, now 36, began in mid-September and ended Tuesday with Nielsen's acquittal on second-degree attempted murder and first-degree assault charges. When the mom from Shirley, New York, was indicted in February, Nielsen was also accused of leaving the scene without reporting the accident that resulted in serious physical injuries, i.e., multiple broken ribs and pelvis fracture, a Class E felony. That was the only offense she was convicted of committing. The Suffolk District Attorney Raymond A. Turney, whose office is currently prosecuting the suspect, Gilgo Beach serial killer, previously slammed the adult mom for thinking that she could take the law into her own hands by bringing a bat and a knife with her on October 7th of 2022 to a parking lot near William Floyd High School at Mastic Beach to confront the bullies who allegedly broke her son's nose and concussed him. Quote, the defendant's incredibly misguided attempt to avenge the alleged victimization of her own child is no excuse. And this was when Turney said in February when explaining that the second-degree attempted murder charge. Citizens cannot take the law into their own hands and should instead work with law enforcement and my office to seek justice in every case. Nielsen believed that the 15-year-old was part of the group of teens bullying her son and even robbing the young boy of his sneakers and AirPods. But charges were only brought up against two other teens in connection with the robbery. Quote, she believed the student who participated in the robbery targeting her son earlier that day were still present at the Dunkin' Donuts parking lot, and she allegedly wanted to confront them. Once in the parking lot, Nielsen threatened a group of students while brandishing a knife and a small bat. During the incident, the victim left the parking lot and walked across the street to the parking lot of Manhattan Bagel. When the 15-year-old walked away, Nielsen followed him at a high rate of speed and drove directly at the victim who was standing in the parking lot, running him over twice. Later on that day, the incident, Nielsen traded in her leased Honda SUV, even though the lease had not expired, which the DA interpreted as attempted to conceal the vehicle was used in the offense. Newsday reported that Nielsen testified at trial that she did not know that she ran over the teen. Quote, I would have called police if I knew I hit someone. Quote, I did feel relief because this had been a lot, on me, my son. Oh, wait, sorry, I missed the part. They also stated, asked by Newsday after the verdict, how she felt hearing the words not guilty twice on the most serious charge she faced. Nielsen stated, I don't know. I'm just happy with the outcome. So this is when the previous comments I was reading comes in. Quote, I did feel relief because this had been a lot, on me, on my son, just everybody involved. It's been a lot. Later in the interview, Nielsen stated that she thought she didn't visibly react in court to the verdict as instructed by her lawyer. Her heart was racing. Quote, I was checking my watch as it was telling me my heart rate was like over 130. In summary, what began as a case that could have put Nielsen behind bars for up to 25 years ended with a conviction that could result in a 1 to 4 years of punishment and a fine no less than $1,000, nor more than $5,000 in addition to other penalties provided by law. Nielsen's lawyer, Catherine, stated that given her client's lack of prior criminal record, the judge could sentence her to probation for a non-violent felony. Judge Timothy set sentencing date for 9 a.m. on December 4th. Right, and then they said that they could, watch the acquittal directly on the website. I'll sit up there and state this. I don't see nothing wrong with what the mother did. Because the main thing that I've stated before is that I've tried to tell a lot of parents that if you're not out here watching your kids and correcting them, somebody else is going to correct them for you. And the way that somebody else is going to correct them, you're not going to like it. So it would behoove any parents out here, if you know that you got children that are on the troublesome spectrum, you better start getting at your kids. You better start correcting them, because this is the one thing I get tired of hearing. I get tired of hearing parents boo-hoo and cry on the news, and you knew that your child was a bully. You knew that your child was, in a sense, no good. You knew that your child was violent. You know that your child be doing everything in the shadows and nothing in the light. And then you want to get on the news and you want to try to boo-hoo and all this other type of stuff. Like I said, this mother was sitting up there defending her son. Her son was jumped, he was beaten, he was robbed by a group. He was not able to defend himself versus his attackers. So his mom was like, you know what? I got you. No problem. We about to get this situated real quick. Now I will sit up there and say I would have technically rather her saw like another parent or the parents, the other women of those boys, because more than likely the mothers are involved in their lives. I would have rather her had it out, specifically with them. But like I said, a lot of these parents today, they don't want to sit up there and mind their kids. They want to watch them. They don't want to actually be parents. They only want to step in when it is that something specifically happens that's detrimental to their kids. They don't want to step in when their kids are doing something detrimental to somebody else. Like, it's crazy. It is 100% crazy how that happens, how that works out. Like, it is crazy. Like, man, oh man. Miss Lawson said, "This is just blackface without face paint." Oh, you're talking about the Asian video. I know what you're talking about. Patricia said, "Isn't that always the name of the game? Acquitted." I guess. Like I said, for me, I'm for the kids. Like I said, that kid was getting bullied. He was robbed for his shoes. He was robbed for his AirPods. That was more than likely hundreds of dollars that was stolen directly off of that kid. Like he got jumped for his stuff. Like I said, I'm not mad at the mom. I'm not mad at the mom. Not at all. Not at all. If one of those kids ended up with some type of broken whatever, it is what it is. Chalk it up to the game. If the parents got a problem with the mother, you better chalk it up to the game. You better be better parents. If the family of those boys got a problem, you better chalk it up to the game, and y'all better start getting in that child's life. Don't start getting in the child's life and want to talk high and mighty now when somebody acted when you should have acted. Don't start doing that, because you're gonna look like a full-on asshole at the moment in time, and you're gonna be 100% in the wrong. Like I said, that mother did right. She defended her child. That is her pride. That is her joy. She is a guardian at the end of the day, and she guarded that child because nobody else decided to. And then you got the prosecutor's office talking about, yeah, you need to come to us. For what? What was you going to do? Prosecutor? What was you going to do? Nothing. And it was still going to result in that kid more than likely getting bullied even more. Now, in this instance, because the mother took care of it, they're going to second guess it. They'll be like, you know what? We ain't going to mess with him because, his mom crazy. It's like, yo, she really like, yo, she went, yo, we ain't doing this no more. Right? They're not going to look at him and try to even do anything. They probably not going to try to whisper in his direction. They head probably going to be down when they walk by him, because they don't want him to sit up there and tell his mom. They probably afraid that the mom might sit up there and drive her car through the high school or something. But like I said, I keep telling people, every action is going to have a reaction. And sometimes, like, you can't control the reaction that people are going to have. You can't control what it is that people are going to sit up there and do. Sometimes you just got to take it. And if you live, if you survive, you just got to rethink, your possibilities. And you got to make sure you make the right one next time. Patricia said, I get that, but there's a way to do all things. It's hard for us to restrain ourselves for our kids. I sit up there and tell you this. I've seen instances where a parent didn't even have a chance to even try to react. I've covered stories where a kid ended up losing his life getting stabbed over a girl. Understand what I'm saying? You got two boys out here. I've covered over, within, a certain amount of time, within about, probably about 4 years ago, or whatever, 4 to 2 years, 4 to 3 years ago. It was a story of two different young men, and they each got stabbed and they lost their lives. So, you know, a lot of people can sit up there and say, I wish it was handled differently, but then what you going to say, like, if you don't get a chance to handle nothing? What if those kids are like, yo, we ain't even going to let you get back up. We stole everything from you. Now we want to take your life. Now what you going to do as a parent? All you can do now is bury your kid. All you can do now is say that you wish you was there. Right? So, like I said before, I'm happy that the parent reacted, because far too many times no parents react. And I've seen this from a lot of different stories of no parents reacting, nothing but emotions and tears. Tippy said his father needs to teach him how to fight, or his uncles. This is the thing, Tippy. I get what you're saying, but when it comes to people having weapons, if somebody, you can be as trained as you want to be, but if somebody has a weapon that's 10 to 15 feet away from you, no training is going to realistically save you. You're going to be running. You're going to be ducking and dodging. You're going to be hoping that a stray don't catch you, right? If it's one of you and you fighting three dudes that got knives, you're not fighting that. You got to run. It don't matter how trained you are. You got to run, because you're not Batman. You're not going to be able to disarm them. Even Batman trying to disarm somebody ended up getting stabbed through his suit. So it's like, even Batman, the most well-trained, DC fighter, he was still stabbed. He was still caught. Fox said, I don't agree with you, Seji. There's no way that boy should be so soft. And in actuality, I see this kid being a future mama's boy that women won't respect in the future. The funniest thing about that is that even if a dude is not a mama's boy, women still won't respect him. I'm not sure if people actually understand that. Let me just reiterate that. Even if that kid never had a mother in his life, let's say he got beat up and all this other type of stuff, right? No girl is going to respect him. Why? Because those same guys are going to be sitting up there going after him in school. They're going to jump him and continuously do whatnot or whatever. The girls are going to sit up there and see it, and they're going to be looking down on him. So then after he graduates, if he luckily graduates, right after all of that happens, those same girls later on, they're still not going to respect him, because they're going to think back to who he was. So it don't matter if after high school he builds his body up, he becomes a trained fighter and all this other type of stuff. Those girls are still going to look at him as, oh, you that dude that was always continuously getting jumped in high school. They still not going to respect you. You got girls, you got women out here that don't respect men, no matter what their IQ is, no matter, what their education is, no matter what their business or what their degree is. So it don't matter if the dude is a mama's boy or not. If a woman ain't going to respect you, she ain't going to sit up there and respect you. So like I said, I'm not about to roll with the mama's boy thing, because it's funny how people always sit up there and state that as a negative. Because the funniest thing is, you got a lot of girls. Why is there never a stigma? So for Fox, because you listed, in a sense, mama's boy as a negative. Why is it that you never hear nobody list daddy's girls as a negative? Anybody? Because you got a lot of grown ass women out here that depend on their fathers. You grown, you married, you in a full-fledged relationship with kids and everything, and you're still going to and depending on your father? That don't make sense. Then you ain't grown. You are not grown as a woman. But yet nobody ever lists a woman being a daddy's girl as a negative. But when it's a quote-unquote mama's boy, which is usually a dude that does respect and love his mother, magically it's a negative. And then when you have these quote unquote, because this is the funny part, right? Because I'm speaking from experience. Quick story time, quick maths, right? When I was younger, I used to sit up there and get questioned by girls. They were like, they would give like, little questions like, yo, do you care for your mom? Do you love your mom? Would you do anything for her and all this other type of stuff? And you would say, normally yes to those questions. So then girls would be like, oh, he a mama boy. He a mama boy. Like, I can never see myself with him. I can never sit up and date him. I can never be with him. Right? So within that, that's letting you know that they would rather choose somebody that doesn't love their mother, that doesn't care about them, that doesn't value or respect them, which means that they're going to choose the guys that disrespect women, that devalue women, that also abuse women, and more than likely, inevitably, sooner or later, end up taking their lives. So again, it's funny to me that when mama's boys, when that terminology is brought up, it's always listed as a negative. But then you have daddy's girls. And then the quote unquote daddy's girls always inevitably pick the bad boy. Somebody who doesn't care about, the women in his family. Somebody who will literally call a woman directly out of their name, devalue a woman, disrespect a woman, and different things of that nature. Like it's funny how those things tend to work. So that's why it's a little bit funny to me whenever it is that I see women, say things like that, or when I see people happen to list again mama's boy as a negative. I'm like, oh, so people only respect men that don't respect women. Got it. I get it. Men who don't respect women are the only ones that get respect. That's what I'm gathering. That's what I'm getting. I'm just saying. Ren Wilson, what is up? What is up? Ren said sometimes people need to pay a price that they can't readily walk away from. Yeah, like I said, examples need to be made. Tippy said schools preach about they don't tolerate bullying, but do nothing about it. You know how many stories and that's what I'm talking about. Hold on, let me highlight that, Tippy. Let me just highlight that for everybody to see. I've done countless stories about kids getting bullied, and then it went on to the point that the school knew about it for months. The parents came directly to the schools, and inevitably, you know what that child did? That child ended up taking their own life. So it's like it's a little bit confusing to me when people sit up there and say like, yo, there's always an alternative way, there's always another route to sit up there and go. There is always another route, and that route is going to inevitably be, chances are your child is going to take their own life. And I'm just being real with you, because I've covered too many stories over my years of doing it, seeing the exact same outcome, or seeing the outcome of a fight breaks out and now the bullies end up taking the life of your child. But everybody wants to try to dance around a situation. Everybody always wants to try to find a different way up until that life is now snuffed out. Now everybody at a funeral crying, thinking about what could have been, what was. Now everybody's sitting up there talking about the memories of that person. But like I said before, everybody gonna learn at their own route. Everybody gonna learn at their own speed. Like I said, this is not stuff that I wish on people, but I'm just sitting up there telling you what it is and what it's going to continue to be, because I'm going to continuously see these stories every single time. I'm going to see it every single month of every single year of every single decade. I'm going to continue to see the exact same stories because parents ain't doing nothing. The schools ain't doing nothing. Prosecutors ain't doing nothing. Because if any of these adults that are listed in these categories were actually about their shit, then bullying would pretty much be snuffed out, but it ain't. This is why you still got the geek in school that still get jumped. He still gets beat up. He still gets teased. So then when that same bully, then it's like when that same kid that's getting bullied, he's like, yo, I'm tired of this. Let me go get something to protect myself. And then he acts with that protection. Now all the adults want to, oh, it wasn't even that serious. Man, you should have came at it a different way. Man, you should have sat up there and used words. But yet nobody was in that kid's shoes. Nobody cared enough to actually try to help that kid out of that situation. The parents didn't care enough. The parents of the bullies didn't care enough. The police didn't care, and the school didn't care. So again, you got rows of adults that are sitting up there failing these kids as they continuously get bullied from day to day to day to day to day. And then everybody want to sit up here and now they want to react when the bully now takes his vengeance. And they want to try to say it wasn't that serious. Oh, it didn't have to go down this way. Well, I need a lot of adults to wake up and start actually being adults and stop doing all this reactionary type of shit. But like I said, everybody wants to sit up there and have a problem with the shit that I say, but nobody actually wants to take action. That's crazy to me. And like I said, I know what it is that I'm talking about because I've been bullied before. I've been there. I've had those thoughts. I've had those options. But I decided not to sit up there and take those routes because I knew what the consequences would have been. But everybody else ain't me. So like I said before, if you are a parent out here and you know you got some kids or some relatives in your family, you know that they're bullies, you might want to sit up there and try to curb that behavior. Because the person that they're bullying might not be a Seji. It might not be a person that's going to be thinking logically. Because I'm letting you know, as somebody that was once in middle school, once in high school, that had, spitballs, that had a paper thrown at them, that was tripped, all of that. I went through all of that shit, had the glasses and everything, called Steve Urkel, all of that shit. I'm trying to sit up there and let you know everybody ain't a Seji. Your child can very easily, your bully of a child can very easily, inevitably, the same day that he left for school, he ain't making it. You're going to be burying him. So like I said, y'all can sit up there and have all of the different opinions, and y'all want to feel a certain type of way and shit, but I'm trying to tell you some real type shit. So you might want to sit up there and take those words, and I ain't talking about with a grain of salt. You might want to take that shit and run with it. Because I'm trying to sit up there and save your ass for some heartache. Like I said, y'all don't understand up until a loss of life actually takes place and happen. Y'all understand nothing. And that's crazy to me. Y'all got people up here that sit up there and try to give y'all life examples, and y'all want to try to go off on some whole other type of shit. That shit is crazy to me. And I'm trying to tell y'all, like, yo, everybody ain't nice. Everybody is not logically minded. Some of the kids that your kids might be picking on, they might be picking on the right one at the wrong time. They might actually need a therapist. They might actually need some meds, and they not on any of that stuff. So like I said, your child might not be coming home. I'm just trying to sit up there and let you know something real. Like I said, y'all understand it when y'all got to sit up there and visit a funeral, and you got to sit up there and read those notes, and you tearing up, sitting up there crying, oh, this person was such and such, he was such a great number. No, he wasn't. You talking straight foolishness right now. That person, man, get that shit out. Like, whatever. Like I said, people understand though. Y'all will, understand better than I can sit up there and tell you. Tippy says, Seji, so you saying mama boys aren't grown men? That's not what I'm saying. I'm going by the things that I've seen directly online. It just sparked the conversation because of what Fox listed. I'm just saying that what inevitably happens is that people list mama's boys. Even when I've seen men talk about it, it's supposedly, quote unquote, the hardest dudes out here, the ones that got like all the tats, they've been, through the streets and all this other type of stuff, the most muscle bound dudes. They up here trying to call other men mama's boys and all this other type of stuff. And I'm like, you know what, you're right. Because I knew somebody that sat up there and called me a mama's boy before. And that same individual ended up abusing women. So I'm like, you know what, you're right. I am. I got respect for women. I don't sit down and put my hands on women. You're right. You're right. So, Fox said we're just going to have a difference of opinion on this one, LOL. But the daddy's girl is not getting called out by women, and guys don't spend that much time out and get. I mean, I guess in like the circles that you've like run in, but I've been able to hear through my existence, I've been able to actually either do it myself or witness this basically happening or being in the vicinity. Because like I said before, that shit is complete for me, it's complete madness. Because again, you got girls up here that will try to, state that, this one person is the greatest of the greatest of the greatest. And then every other guy has to try to like live up to that comparison. I'm like, that's crazy. That's 1,000% crazy. It's like it's understandable if you want certain characteristics of an individual in the person that you seek. That's cool, that's great. But to try to say that the dude that you're dating is supposed to embody that's crazy. And then you got fathers out here that try to teach their daughters like, yo, if your boyfriend or whatever ain't basically like me, he ain't no good. And I'm like, that's some flawed ass logic, right? I'm like, yo, that's some flawed ass logic right there. Because you got like some fathers that'll say that, but they done cheated on that girl's mother like 19 different ways and got 2 to 3 different families. But you trying to sit up there and put this weight on the shoulders of other young men because you're supposed to be viewed as like this perfect dude. I'm like, come on, man. Who you trying to come on? I'm like, that's crazy right now. I'm like, yo, that's 1,000% crazy. You know, Gail said, I'm tired of black folks' reactionary asses. It's going to be like that. Vanna said it wasn't that serious. Says who? Oh, it's a lot of people. Trust me. It's a lot of people. Whenever kids get bullied and the bullied happen to react to the bullying, a lot of people don't like the reaction. They're like, oh my God, it wasn't this serious. Loss of life didn't have to sit up there and happen. Mediation could have happened, conversations could have happened. It's terrible that a lot. It's funny how the victim becomes the villain, and then the villain becomes the victim, and then everybody's crying and tearing up for the villain. And I'm like, how the fuck did that even? That's a swift turn of events. That is a swift turn. I'm like, that's crazy to me. I'm like, that's 100% crazy how shit like that can literally happen. But this is the world that we live in. Tiffany said, I've been bullied too. Can't speak for other bully victims, but it messes with your mentality years on. Yeah. You'll start to you'll look at stuff, vastly differently. You will look at stuff vastly differently. Vastly differently. You have a whole nother outlook you would have thought you would have never had when it deals with the world and people. Because this is the thing that people don't understand when you are a child and you get bullied. Before, when you're a child, you would think that the whole world is a certain type of way, and you would perceive it as that people will actually, try to help, somebody that is actually in need, right? You think that there's going to be somebody that's going to come to the rescue, and you'll actually understand that nobody actually cares about you on this plane of existence. Everything is about self. Everything is about self-preservation. No matter how nice people sit up there and put this shit directly out there, where it's like this, that, and the third. Like I said, great example. Look at the churches. They sit up there and say that they love and care for every single person. But look at the selfishness of the church. Look at how much actual help they've really done, which really ain't much at all. Case in point, look at the Catholic Church and all of the things that have been performed and hidden still to this day, and all of the many hundreds of thousands of men that have been affected as young boys. Look at all of that. And look at how the villains are getting hidden, and they're getting sent to all different churches, getting sent different places around the world in order to hide those secrets and to keep those secrets and to keep the exact same thing going. Like I said, that shows you the selfishness of the world. That shows you that aspect of self-preservation, even if it means that it's detrimental to other folks. So again, when you hear the world out here talking about we care, we care, we care, they don't, and they never will. Patricia said, and I know what it feels like to be bullied is very frightening. Yeah. Patricia said, let's write Missed TV Williams. Oh wait, I guess that's another channel, I guess. Yo, Prince, what is up? What is up? What is up? What is up? What is going on? Oh, you was talking about the Tippy. Okay, I got you. Tippy said maybe that's why I'm antisocial today. I mean, you got some people that are just naturally, antisocial, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, being around a lot of people ain't what it's really cracked up to be. Because it seems like every single time you step outside, something is always happening. Somebody's always losing their life. Somebody's always having a problem with somebody else. A fight is always breaking up. Like, it's always something. But it's like magically when you stay in the house, it's like ain't nothing happening. Like, it's funny how that works. Patricia said, excuse me, I hear you. I'm a loner. Yeah, like I said, it's nothing wrong with being. Don't listen to everybody else where they sit up there and tell you like, yeah, you need to sit up there and go out there and be a social butterfly. Let people who want to be a social butterfly, let them be a social butterfly. Like I said, let them do that. You want to sit up there and go to these clubs, you want to go to these parties, you want to sit up there, and especially if you're a woman, pay attention to what I'm sitting up there telling you. You got other women out here that will set you up for failure. If you got women out here telling you like, oh, you need to be more social, you need to go out there and drink and go to clubs and dance. No, the hell you don't. Because I've done too many stories of women supposedly in groups, and then they bring their friends, and they're not looking out for their friends. They're not looking at who their friend is dancing with. They're not paying attention to it. They're not following their girlfriend directly to the bathroom. They're not monitoring the drinks. They don't even know who bought the drinks. Like, and then their friend ends up drugged, or their friend ends up missing, or their friend ends up drugged and missing, and then their body is nowhere to be found up until 2 weeks or a month later. So like I said before, for a lot of women out there, you better pay very close attention to the women that's telling you to go out there and start being social, to start moving and grooving and doing all this other type of stuff and start drinking. You got some people out there trying to set you up for failure. Like I said, you got some women out there that are amongst you working with evil intentions. Might want to sit up there and pay attention to that. And you got a lot of women that's sitting up there working with men in order to trap women. So again, you might want to sit up there and pay attention to that, because your friends might be directly in that circle or connected to those men. Gail said, proactive is the key to solving a lot of our problems. That is bars. That is straight bars. Patricia said, my bully slapped me so hard I literally saw stars. Wow, that's crazy. Gail said, I was bullied several times during my elementary, middle, high school career. I guess they didn't like the way I looked. Each time they got physical and I wore, some ass out. That's something. I could, like, I swear to you, I could never in my life imagine that you would get bullied. I could never imagine. I swear to goodness, because I just like see you as like a force, and it's like you'll probably like be, like just like to yourself and stuff. But I really could not sit up there and see like some girls really trying to like come at you in that type of way. I just, it's like, for me, I'm like I said, I'm not saying that it's impossible. I'm just saying that, I couldn't see it. Tippy said, I hate bullies. And Was your bully a girl or a guy? Oh, you talking to Patricia? I got you. Let me see. Oh, but this is the thing I'll sit up there and say too. Now, the times that, some people may bring up, being able to, to fight back, like I said, that's dope. Being able to do it at different times, you could easily do that, and you can go to school, and you and that same person are still there throughout the 4 years, and ain't nothing gonna happen. Today is a whole different time where, people don't fight fair. Where it was like, oh, the person I'm bullying actually fought back. Oh, they embarrassed me in front of my friends, and in front of the school. Oh, people trying to clown me now because I got beat up. I got you. And then they'll leave during lunchtime. They'll go home or go to somebody that they know, get something real quick, and they'll roll back up to the school, and they'll wait up until the bell rings, and then they'll sit up there and find that person, and then they'll just hand out the Alec Baldwin. You know? So, like I said before, much respect to those from, previous timelines where, it was acceptable and fine and dandy to, fight back, and everything was completely fair, everything was completely even. We're not living in those times no more. Sad to say, you know. So we got Guyana Giant said, I grew up in Queens, New York in the mid 80s, all the way up to the 90s. Bullies got their houses burnt down. That's like the only way to get rid of them and send a message to their dirtbag parents. Ah, I never thought about that. Never thought about that. That's a good point. I'm not saying that I'm condoning that. I'm just saying that is a very good point. That is one way to send the message. That is one way to really, send the message and get that through to the parents. It is. Like I said, everybody was able to live and the message was sent. Yeah, yeah, it seems about right. Patricia said, I only know my people black. Said, LOL day. Gail said, it's always someone to try you. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. They did and regretted it. They didn't expect that action from me. Yep, yep. The thing, the funniest thing that I've learned going through looking back at high school and, being the quiet kid, the one that was in the back of the class, drawn and, all of that, is that the people that used to sit up there and like make fun and all that other type of shit, those were the ones that inevitably wanted to be friends with me, because some of the people that they looked up to or that they followed viewed me as, like a positive light, like the story I told y'all, before. Um, Never forget it. It was science class, and I was sitting there, and I think we had like a substitute teacher. We didn't have any work packets to do, so it was pretty much an hour to do, whatever people wanted to, to do up until, lunch or whatever it was. So I had my book bag at my desk, the desk that I always sit in, the desk that we have roll call in, all of that. So that's, my main desk. So I sat in that desk, had my book bag, my jacket, and everything. Just like asked the substitute, could I go to the bathroom? He's like, all right, yeah. So I went to the bathroom, came directly right back. And the person there, one of the guys decided to come in and out of nowhere just like sit at my desk when I came back. And I'm like, yo, can I get my seat back? Again, I'm using words. I'm like, hey, can I get my seat back? Like I sit here, roll call, like literally going through a whole explanation to let this person know. Person like turned around, just basically, didn't care, continue, talking and doing X, Y, Z. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to turn this up a notch because people obviously don't believe it. So I took the back of the desk and I lifted up the desk. Of course, my stuff fell directly on the floor. I didn't care because I was going to pick it up regardless, but he was starting to slide directly out the desk. He got the message that I was obviously, serious. So he got up out the desk, right? So then this other kid up there by the name of Kenny, he decided to come up and, in a sense, get directly in my face. And it was like a circle that basically started. Normally in any movie or show, if a circle is starting, a fight is going to happen, right? So Kenny proceeds to basically try to show off his punching skills, right? And I'm like, you know what? Whatever's going to happen is whatever's going to happen. I'm just going to do my best, and we're going to be back here tomorrow. So he proceeds to basically start throwing punches in front of my face, right? Stopping it roughly a centimeter directly in front of my nose, right? He did that about 3 times because he thought that I was going to move. He thought I was going to flinch. He thought I was going to move. He was like, "Oh, so you ain't gonna sit up there and move?" They were like, "Oh, well, next time actually, I'm just going to sit up there and let it go, and it's it's going to be what it's going to sit up there and be." So when he was sitting up there winding up, the dude in the background, who was, I guess, the leader of the group, he was sitting up there on the desk watching the whole thing from the beginning, sitting up there with his girl and whatnot. And he was like, "Yo, Kenny, yo, chill, leave him alone. Like, he cool, he with me. It's all right." Kenny sat up and looked back at him, and then he looked back to me, and he was like, "All right," and then he just walked off. So, it's funny to go through school and understand certain things in life where it's like when you are you and people understand the type of person that you are, whatnot, whatever. To a certain extent, you will have people that will sit up there and step in and vouch for you and say stuff. And again, I'm not no type of dude that's going through school trying to fight people, all this other type of shit. I'm a normal dude. I like anime. I like drawing. I play Yu-Gi-Oh. I play video games. That's the type of dude, and I watch Power Rangers. That's the type of dude that I am. I leave all of that horror shit to everybody else that want to claim that shit. Because like I said, I ain't trying to sit up there and fixate myself on looking for motherfucking challenges every single day. I'm not trying to sit up there and do that. For me, I don't see a purpose in it unless I'm trying to be a boxer or a UFC fighter or some type of shit directly like that. But like I said before, I understand when people sit up there and say that you gotta stand up and all that other type of shit and yada yada yada. Like I said, I've had a lot of close calls, where talking was possible. But like I said before, it's not really that same extent now. You're not going to have those same occurrences that I had. Now they're just going to sit up there. It's like the whole group going to jump you. Ain't nobody vouching for nobody. Ain't nobody saying nothing. So like I said, that's all I'm trying to sit up and say. Like, y'all need to start talking to y'all kids out here. Y'all need to start talking, man. Because again, everybody ain't no Seji. Like you legitimately got some crazy kids out here that's just waiting for a bully to sit up there and do the wrong thing at the right time. And those kids getting bullied already got something set up for them. I think that was supposed to be the moral of the story. I don't know what it was. I just wanted to go to a story time, I guess. Guyana Giant said, and people think I'm lying. Look up how many house fires there were in Queens. It's screwed up, but people just want to live in peace and raise their children in peace and try to give them the best life. No, that's bars. You're right. You're right. Tippy says, story time with Seji feels like a funny, informative ASMR in its own way. Patricia said, that's right. They say I'm going to get you after school. Yeah. Um, Patricia said, I love him. Hey, much love, respect, and appreciation. Technically, I was supposed to actually shift the background directly over to this when I do the story time, but I forgot to actually do that. But yeah. Tippy said, same here. I play video games, still watch wrestling, cartoons, and still sometimes look at Barbie stuff. I don't play with my dolls, but I still have some. This is the thing, Tippy. You could very easily, with some of the Barbies from, like, let's say if it was like the 2000s or the 90s, some of those could easily be worth money. Like if you still got them in a box, or if they're in mint condition, they could very easily still be worth quite a bit of money, even if it's $1,200. You might have paid $27 for it, but you could probably get about 1,200 or something for it. So, you know, you know. So yeah, as you know, like I said, it's just a shame out here about what's happening with a lot of these kids. Again, I am specifically for the kids because a lot of adults are not for the kids, and I state that by way of all of the stories that I've done when it deals with so many kids getting mistreated, thrown into different types of trades and slavery, and all the other types of negative things that that happen to kids, um, mostly by way of adults. So, like I said, going back to the mother, for me, I feel like she did the right thing. She did what, you know, some parents would have done, you know. And like I said, I don't know the extent if there are any extenuating circumstances to, her child or anything like that, because I got videos that I can't put up here on social media. Um, where I'll just explain one where you have an autistic kid that's getting beat up, right? And technically, I would want to put it up there to highlight the fact of, this is something that happens to a lot of kids that are on the spectrum, where you'll have, the other kids thinking that, oh, yeah, it's cool. Let's sit up there and pick on him and all this other. He can't fight back. He don't know what's going on. They'll sit up there and do stuff like that. They'll pick on the ones that they know aren't going to sit up there and fight back. And a lot of times you'll have other kids that will watch and they will allow somebody who is on the spectrum or autistic to directly get like picked on or bullied, or or different things of that nature. So like I said, a lot of things need to change and a lot of laws need to get passed in order to protect the kids directly out here. Tippy said, I'm not selling my dog, sir. Sorry. It's very nostalgic to me. Early 2000s, Barbies, cars, doll houses. Says you remember Toys R Us and my favorite KB toy stores. Look here, Tibby. If you could sell one of those dolls and they were worth like 100,000, you better sell one of those dolls. I don't know what you talk about. Like I said, if I had a Power Ranger action figure, yo, nostalgia is real. But if it was worth like 100 grand, I'm like, bro, I'm gonna have to we're gonna have to get over that nostalgia. I'm gonna have to just watch some reruns, and we're selling that Megazord. We're gonna have to sit up there. We're gonna be selling that Megazord today because we need that money. Because like I said before, the value of certain things is not going to be the same value tomorrow. So I might as well get it while it's at its height versus when it's at its lowest. Tibby said, I remember having a black Army doll set of Christy and Steve. They're basically the black version of Ken and Barbie. It's like as I'm having this conversation, I can automatically see Tippy in her room listening to the live stream, and she's going over to her shelf and she's playing with the dolls. Hi, Christy. Hi, Steve. Sitting up there playing like it's The Sims. I can see this right now. I swear this is what is taking place at this moment in time. Nobody can tell me any different. Nobody can tell me any different. let me see something. Let me just venture out yonder and see if I can potentially pull anything from the grand Twitter streets. Because you already know how we sit up here and do at this moment in time. We're about close to 2 hours in. We're going to see if we can pull some videos from the. What in the world? Come on now. Huh. I wonder what took place. That's crazy. So let me just let y'all know what might have happened to me on Twitter. It's a funny story time, because oddly enough, let me maybe I gotta type it in differently. Oh, because I was about to say, I thought I got banned off of Twitter real quick. Thought I got banned. Ooh, wait. Ooh, they filing for divorce? Ooh. So they filed for divorce because actress files for divorce citing irreconcilable irreconcilable differences after 4 years of marriage. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. How did that happen? So this is quite a shocker, guys. And I remember actually doing a video directly on this couple, and I called out the clownish nature of what would, and it only lasted 4 years. That is crazy. Look at this. This is very interesting, guys. We actually gotta stop and stare. Shout out to One Republic. We gotta stop and stare. This is pretty. I guess it's devastating to a certain community here. So this couple here that we've all seen, I did a video showcasing how the woman in this picture wanted to show her backside when it dealt with her significant other in a photo shoot, and it seems that something took place. Let's see here. It said Joshua Jackson and Jodie Turner Smith have split nearly 4 years after marriage. The British actress, age 37, who shares a 3-year-old daughter, Janie, with the Dawson's Creek star, age 45, filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences as the main reason for the split. Celebrity divorce lawyer Laura Wesser is representing Smith in a divorce, with the actress asking for joint custody of the daughter. The date of separation is listed as September 13th, just one day after the pair attended a NYFW together. She does not want spousal support for either her or Jackson, with the pair not having a prenup in place. That was not a smart decision. Oh boy. In September of 2022, the pair sparked split rumors after they unfollowed each other on social media after previously sharing multiple love-up posts. They then refollowed each other, with Jackson brushing off split speculations as he gushed about his wife in chat with E! News. He said, "She is undeniably one of the most beautiful women on the planet, and she always smashes it when she's on the red carpet. That is truly a wonder to behold. But I will tell you that there is nothing like waking up in the morning, opening my eyes and seeing her face in the morning." Jodie and Joshua married in 2019 after meeting through mutual friends in 2018 and initially insisting that their romance was just casual. She has previously revealed their romance started as a one-night stand. Back in 2021, Jody made an appearance on the Late Night with Seth Meyers and joked about how, despite getting off a quick start, their relationship was still going strong. Quote, "When I first met my husband, we had a one-night stand. We're in a 2-3 one-night stand now." She went on to tell Seth the story on how they met at the party and both felt an instant connection. Now, let me make y'all understand something. Their whole marriage is standing on faulty ground because it was not built on love. They saw each other at a party. They decided to have a quick one-night stand, and then they kept having these one-night stands, right? The woman that you see directly to the right of the Dawson's Creek star, she stated that she did not feel beautiful in her skin up until a Caucasian man told her that. So pay attention. He was there because it was just something easy to do. That's the one night stand. That's, it is what it is, right? But due to the fact that they were like, well, maybe we shouldn't, instead of just having these one night stands, why don't we get married so that we can just do this all the time and just see each other? Obviously, that was the wrong move because, again, nobody in this situation actually loved each other. The British actress, she was a broken woman. She never felt beautiful in her own skin. She said that the only one that made her feel beautiful was basically him. And I'm like, so it takes for a whole nother man of a whole nother society to make you realize that you have very beautiful skin. That's crazy to me. This is why I sit up there and say that women need to teach their daughters their value. You need to sit up there and tell your daughters that they are beautiful, right? You need to tell them that they are valuable. You need to tell them that, and teach them how to love themselves. This is what that looks like. This is why you had a divorce. This is why she's going for divorce at this moment in time. And this also adds to another thing that I stated before, where I gave the statistics where 70+% of the time, women are the main ones that initiate the divorce. Even in the article, it stated that she was the one that initiated said divorce. Right? But she wants joint custody and all that. And remember, she went all over these talk shows stating that, yeah, I met Joshua, by a one-night stand. We just came together and everything clicked. Everything didn't just click. You just like the fact that he saw you the way that he saw you, and you like the way that he wanted you in that type of way. And here we are. 4 years later, now it's a divorce. There was no sense in even getting married. There was literally no sense in even getting married at all. Like that was, oh man, that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. And I promise you that more than likely, don't be too shocked if a few months to a couple years later, you see Joshua with a woman that is reflective of him, because this tends to happen. Look at who Taylor Swift is dating, and then look at the man that Taylor Swift is dating, and then look at who that man would normally sit up there and date. He would normally date who? Women that look like her. But then after he got done with women that look like her, who did he go back directly to and date? Women that look just like him. Like I said, some people will learn the hard way. Some people will learn the hard way. And I'm looking at the comment section. You got some people sitting up here stating that it's just an odd couple to begin with. Ooh. Somebody else said from the UK. They said that she, matter of fact, let me see if I can highlight. Ooh, can I highlight this? Matter of fact, let me be on the safe side and not do that just in case somebody writes some crazy stuff. Another person said she thinks she's all that, but she's not. He is, though. Seems like a decent guy who has been around the block and does not care. She craves that spotlight. Somebody else says she's from Auckland, New Zealand, said she's very shiny all the time. Is that oil or sweat? Somebody else said absolutely no one surprised. He was punching. Another person said Joshua had a problem with his wife disappearing after he turned. Wow. Wow, that's crazy. He said Joshua had a problem with his wife disappearing after he turned the lights out and she lost him on a sunny day. Wow, that's crazy. Yep. But like I said, people understand. You'll have people out here that'll let you know how they see that relationship and how they see you. But like I said, woo, somebody else was like, this is from Anytown, United States, said she was ugly as sin. How can she look? How can he look at her every day? No wonder he divorced her. Wow. But if you read the article, you would understand that she is divorcing him. Somebody else said, primates are difficult pets, as Joshua now know. Like I said, yo, for the women out there, y'all gonna understand. Like let your relationships flourish long enough and start posting like TikToks and all that. You're gonna start seeing those exact same comments. But like I said, you can't tell people nothing. You gotta let people find out. You gotta let people find out. Like I said, these comments are crazy. They're going in on that woman. They are going directly in on that woman. Algorithm said education does not mean you're smart. It just means you study hard to be accepted by white people. Some of the smartest people are not thus system educated. All of that didn't save her from her ancestral enemy. Right. Tippy said, well, they split. Who cares? You remember those pictures they did? He was fully clothed and she was naked. Those images look like master and slave. Like I said, and that's why I showcased those images. But I'm like, hey, people were sitting up there telling me, people were sitting up there saying, like, yo, why have a problem with it? Why are you worried about it? All this other type of stuff. Like I said, I want to see what those same people that was body blocking her for her got to say now, because she's divorced and she's asking for the divorce. Irreconcilable differences. Let me tell you. Um, like I said, people gonna learn it. You know, hey. All said, black people led, white people slide. That's the problem. Gil said his eyes have always screamed primacy, overseer. To me, he looks disgusting standing next to her, but yet, because her mind is so distorted and deeply damaged, she thinks he's the prize. You know, the funniest thing is, out of all of the interviews, he's always stated that she's the prize. You didn't really hear that in a sense coming from her, other than that one article where she stated that it took from somebody that is a Patrick to let her know that she's beautiful and that her skin is beautiful. It's craziness. Craziness. Tick said she didn't feel pretty, probably due to the negative comments of racist people and some black men, to be honest. You know, the funniest thing is, now, not disregarding the things that I've heard women say online where they're like, oh, you know, I never felt beautiful in my skin because of the boys teasing me and all this other type of, you know, the funniest thing I've learned over time is that women don't talk about the other women in their families that make them, you know, feel a certain type of way about their skin complexion or their color. I've heard from a lot of women that they have taken on a lot of heat, like especially if they're darker complected, they will get a lot of stuff from the women in their family. And then if they're dark complected, they'll also get a lot of stuff from other women in the community. And then if they are, you know, quote unquote pretty and everything like that with nice eyes, they'll still take on a lot of problems and heat from both women in the family and women in the community, but that's never really a conversation. Like I said, she has great skin. She is very highly melanated. But again, for me being a black man, that those words mean nothing directly to her. I could walk up to that woman and say those exact words to her, and it'll roll right off. Like if you ever seen a duck in water, you ain't never seen them wet. And that's exactly how she's gonna look. It's gonna roll right up off her. Now, if men from other nationalities say this directly to her, those words will sit up there and mean the whole world to her. You know, Tiffany says she's gorgeous. I don't know. A rich black dude didn't wipe her up. A rich black dude could not because she has a preference. Her preference is somebody that looks like Patrick, which is cool. Like I said, it is what it is. She let that be known. So it's not, like I said, it would be, I would not recommend a black dude even do it because she needs a lot of healing. She needs a lot of therapy. There's nothing that a rich black dude could actually do for her. She needs to be like by herself. She needs to get therapy. She needs to focus on some positive mantras. She needs to see the beauty in herself and a lot of other things. There is nothing that any rich black dude can do for her. She needs to do a lot of work and a lot of soul searching at this moment in time. All said this woman didn't care about her own life. Oh, you're talking about this woman here.
including a
You're talking about this one. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the previous um, story. But that is the live stream at this moment in time, and those are the stories that I wanted to go over at this moment in time. I wanted to say much love, respect, and appreciation to any and all of those who were in attendance. Like I said, thanks for your feedback. Thanks for the comments, the engagement, and and everything that goes along directly, with that at the moment in time. For a lot of y'all that know, excuse me. For a lot of y'all that know, I will have stories on posted on the third channel. Um, when I happen to, get directly to it, they won't be on the main two channels. When the main two channels are live stream, all stories will be posted directly on the third channel. So shout out to those who stopped by and happen to look at those stories and the shorts and everything like that. Much love, respect, and appreciation. Timmy said, I'm saying it hits different when men of your race become obsessed with their women. If that happened for her, she would be with a black man. Um, like I said, I don't know. It's hard to even sit up there and say anymore because I've literally I posted a video directly up to you, Tippy, on this live stream where you had a girl. She was young. I think she was like 18 or 19. She literally stated that she never had any type of dating history or experience with black men. And she stated that she would pretty much stay away and never seek out or try to date a black man, calling them dusties and all other types of stuff. And I'm like, how do you basically hate somebody that you don't even have a history with? So that's what I'm saying when it comes to like Jody Turner, whatever her name is. I'm not in the excuse store at this moment in time. I can't, I don't hand out excuses over the counter. So, I can't really roll with any of that. Tippy said, look up the. Is somebody screaming? I don't know what that was. But yeah, like I said, it's something. But anyways, Gail said, thank you, King Kings. enjoy the live streams. No problem. Like I said, it's gonna be a work in progress. Bring these directly, to you guys, and I'm gonna work on doing this on a consistent basis. Having at least, quite a few things directly up there. TV said it's October, said you. That don't mean nothing, Tippy. We doing stories out here. We doing news directly out here, Tippy. So we doing. Um, I mean, October has a lot of games coming out, so I mean, there's that. Um, let me see if who is online at this moment in time. I'm sitting up here checking this while I'm still streaming. Um, Tippy says too early to spook us. LOL, ain't nobody screaming. No, it was. Well, y'all probably. I'm shocked y'all weren't able to. The camera didn't pick that up, but no, it was somebody screaming outside. I'm like, I was about to go try to see what was what was happening real quick. Like I said, much love, respect, and appreciation. Shout out to everybody in attendance. Shout out to all the people that's here at this moment in time. Love y'all, appreciate y'all. Tippy said I played Goosebumps. I bet you did, Tippy. I bet you did. And you said you finished Little Nightmares 2. Oh, you actually got a new game other than The Sims? I am shocked. Wow. But much love, respect, and appreciation to everybody in attendance. Love you guys a lot. Respect you guys a lot. And I will see you guys on the next live stream. Peace out.